footage. VFX 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 footage.
Hello, good day, viewers of Freetown Television Network and listeners of Freetown Radio on 90.4 FM. Well, it's a very good afternoon, and this is how I would like to welcome you to this edition of the program, The Views. The Views is your news and current affairs program that comes your way live from FTN on channel 35 and Freetown Radio 90.4 FM from Monday to Friday at exactly 12 midday. And I'm your host, Claude Atero Robert. And in this edition of The Views for today, we'll be bringing you information and news that are making headlines around the country. Obviously, I would like for you to be right by your television set and your radio transistors for you to get part of the information that are making headlines in and around the country. I wish you all a happy day, and do stay with us for the next hour and see how we can look into things making news in and around Sierra Leone. Today we have few topics on the headlines for today. We are going to talk about land issues. As in Sierra Leone, land is something of vital importance, and in past years we've been seeing violence erupting. Considering land issues, we've been seeing people against one another's. And when you talk about the land issue, and it's very sad to say that there is land, enough land in the country, yet people are going against one another for the sake of land to dwell. In my belief, I believe that Sierra Leone, the government of Sierra Leone have the capacity of issuing land to every Sierra Leonean. Talking about 7 million people for a broad landscape like that of ours. It's not supposed to bring problem to us. We are not supposed to be fighting one another, running after one another for land issues in this country. It's high time that at least governments try to put things in place to see that the average Sierra Leonean, even if he is not earning that much to acquire land, but at least they are going to be maybe scale or a stage of paying for land until it becomes theirs. Sierra Leoneans are very hardworking people. Yes, it's just that sometimes the platform is not clearly laid down for Sierra Leoneans to do things more than what we are expecting today. But yet still others are lacking behind because of one or two discrepancies along the journey of life. But yes, the land issue is an important and very vital aspect in the everyday life of every human being. And when you take the landscape of Sierra Leone, starting from Freetown, when you go along the peninsula, leaving the peninsula, going towards urban areas and other areas, rural areas, you see vast land laying down there. Vast land. It surprised others when they see this vast land just laying down, and people are crumbled just down in Freetown, crumbled in certain areas, slum areas, hillsides, where the land's supposed to be a reserve zone. People are crumbling down there, and problems arise, quarrel between one another when there is enough and to spare. So I believe, in my own opinion, I believe the government of the day can look for another method how Sierra Leoneans should acquire land more simple. Yes, because yes, the tendency is there, the opportunities are there, the procedures are there to acquire land, but it's also a bit robust. Some of our people out there, they don't know, or they don't have that courage to come from a distance, take that long journey over 5, 6, 10 times, coming to the Ministry of Lands to see how they can acquire a portion of land. So if there is any way to decentralize the processes of acquiring land to the 4 regions of the country, the east, west, north, and the southern region, to disseminate this particular procedure, the ministry looking for areas where people can go and see how they can acquire land in a simple manner, involving the local heads, the local authorities. Yes, they can come in and say, okay, I know this person is an indigenous person in the area, so we can give him a piece of land, a town or 2 town lots or 3 town lots, depending on what the person is capable of paying, in a very simple manner, for people not to be running behind one another for the sake of land. It's really pathetic when you see sometimes some people are pushed out of their own properties. Yes, some people inherited their properties from their forefathers, from their parents and grandparents, and at the end of the day, one early morning, you see somebody just come on and say, look, I have acquired this land for so a time and it's belonged to me. They have to go to court, and the court will delay months after months after months. You'll be going there, going to the Ministry of Lands, trying to just to acquire a small portion for you to dwell. It's really a call for concern, and as a media, as a professional media, we take from the people to the government, and then we take from the government back to the people. We serve as a liaison, as a bridge between the masses and the government. So what we are saying is that these are observations that people raise time after time, and we have the opportunity, we have the medium to pass this message around to authorities that are responsible. And for sure, I believe they are members of the present government, of the authority. Our editors are there listening and watching. If there is any way to salvage a land situation in order for Sierra Leoneans to acquire land in the most simple manner, I think that can be a very, very welcome project. We are calling upon the authorities, obviously the Minister of Lands and Housing and Environment, to look into different style, different ways of projecting procedures, bringing out simple procedures for people to acquire a piece of land and become a first-class citizen. Because when you talk about first-class citizen, you have a dwelling place to lay your head after a hard day's job, and you have area to keep your little family, you have areas to relax on a weekend, you have your own. You are not chased out by landlords, you are not being running behind by proprietors of buildings and infrastructures. I think there is a way for us to salvage the situation, though it is going to take some amount of time. Yes, we understand that it can take some amount of time, but a journey of 1,000 miles, I tell you, brothers and sisters out there, that starts by one single step. If we start seeing simple method to acquire land, and people started going for it, you will see that the tension behind land issues, land grabbing, land quarreling, that tension will reduce. And another way for the government to help salvage the situation is that you take the central government, to different areas where you want people to go and live and dwell. Yes, for example, after the mudslide and the flooding, victims were taken to 6 Mile, Mile 6, and that's after Waterloo, going up there. People were taken to that particular place, and homes were constructed for them. But the fact that the central government has not implemented certain infrastructures or certain authorities, MDAs and the rest of it, people tend to be shying away from their own dwelling places. For example, there is no police station there. If there is a problem, a riot or problem between people, there is nowhere to lodge your complaint. If there is no hospital nearby, when people fall sick, where are they going to look for health care? There is no proper schooling infrastructures there, markets, places, churches. There are so many things that's supposed to be there, and then people can go there. But all the time we are just tossing around the story that Freetown is congested. Freetown is congested. Yes, it's congested. But what has the government done for Freetown to be decongested? Take these people back to the interior where they come from. Let's get all the representatives from the central government there, and you will see people will continue to live there. People will even come from the central, from Freetown, the city, and go to these areas to do business on timely basis. Like for example in Cambia, Koindu, we used to be having this market days, they call it Luma. People will come from Freetown, from other areas, go to Luma over there, spend 2-3 days, because the infrastructures are there. If you are feeling sick while you are attending a particular program in another region, somewhere that there were nobody, and now people are dwelling there, and they go there for an occasion. If there is any problem, they get the police station to report their matters. They get hospital to cry their health care. These are some of the things that needed to be in place. They're supposed to be there, and then you invite people to go back to those regions and then make their life simple. But if you send somebody out of the area where the bread and butter is flowing, though sometimes people tend to grumble behind the issue of bread and butter, but yet if the central government can take infrastructures, take the central government, let them get sublets, let them get sub-offices. There are, I'm not saying there are not, but it's not insufficient. It's very insufficient. We need to show our presence there in certain areas for people to come and join others in this area and develop those areas. Freetown is congested. There is traffic congestion 24 hours round the clock. Even pedestrians are finding it difficult to move around certain areas, especially when you talk about the CBD, that's the Central Business District. You see, so these are things that are supposed to be on the pipeline that people are supposed to be looking at, focusing at, that in the near future, in the next 1-2 years, there will be a new city or a new town at mile 91. Before mile 91, there's a vast land there. People can use there for a new stadium. So if there is an international match, we cannot just crumble ourselves to the Shaka Stevens Stadium. We go up there. When there is a basketball or a sporting activity to Waterloo, we can take it to Wellington, as there is a land there, a mini stadium. Things like that can help to develop a nation. But if we are all focusing on how can we build skyscrapers and underground roads and bridges across Freetown, you are continuing to add more sorrow to the injury. I think we are supposed to spread our tentacles now to different areas of the country and make use of this precious land that the Almighty God has given to us. It's an advice, it's my opinion, and I believe it's the opinion of numbers out there that Freetown is congested, and we need to spread our activities to other areas. Go over to Lunge. Yes, when you go there, some people call it oversea, and it's really oversea. When you talk about Lunge, that's a flat land there. You can do more infrastructures there. Invite people there to do other activities. When there are activities that are supposed to concentrate only in Freetown, take them to other areas where people can go and help to develop that area. Some people can go to an area and then they fall in love with that area and they never return back to where they were. It's because certain infrastructures, certain authorities are there, and they are feeling protected, feeling secure, so they can be there and then continue their lifetime. It's a call for concern. And to make it easier is that the Minister of Lands is a kind of a robust person. I believe if he engage in certain actions for people to spread out, use the land, spread out. Forget about the red zone. Forget about the green belt. Yes, they are there. Let them be there. But there are other areas where there are no green belts. There are areas where there are no red zone. Let people use this land. Let them be scattered around. Let infrastructures flow. Let the activities of government flow all around. You will see people will come from one area to another. We talk about our neighboring countries, our sister countries around us, even within the ECOWAS region. You can see this person telling you, oh, I'm coming from one state going to another state. When you talk about Nigeria, you can come from Enugu state, you come to Lagos, from Lagos you go to Abuja. They are all well equipped with infrastructural development, and all the necessary central authorities are there in place to welcome those who are coming from afar. So these are some of the things that I think Sierra Leoneans are yearning for in present times. It's not all the time settling disputes among land grabbers, settling disputes among people who are occupying state land, running about people who are having false documents for land. I think these are all areas to relax, or to bring us back to this slow pace of development. It's time for us to wake up, tighten our belts, and see how we can arrange our land issues as a very simple issue. Because you can't tell. I might be the victim today, but who might be the victim tomorrow? Maybe I will be leaving a portion of land for my son or my daughter here to dwell, or to use it as an inheritance from the forefather, from the father. And tomorrow you see somebody from the blues just come in and say, hey, I acquired this land from your uncle, it was not your father's property, and the fight starts. We go to the judiciary. Obviously there is another story. It's a different story when you go to the judiciary. They have their own way of doing things. I believe that justice will prevail one day in this country, and we will see things going better. When you come from the judiciary, and some people can take it the other way around to the Ministry of Lands, taking it to the black magic, doing all type of things to acquire land. We see where people even go to the court with the local witch guns and the fangay and all of that, just because of land issues. Why can't we just come to one resolution and share the land? There is vast land in the country. Don't crumble ourselves in one little place, Freetown, because of the seaport, because of the airport. These things can be in other areas in the country where people go and dwell, they go and job. So it's not anything to scratch your head, or it's not a tumble of a stone on top of your head. It's just the twinkle of an eye. The authorities can give their views and their statements on certain things, and it happens. Oh yes, of course. Remember Obama said we didn't need strong politicians or strong people. We need strong institutions and strong policies to make the country grow. These are the things that we try to bring out, that we collect from the people out there and bring it out to the people, to the government, for them to know where are the loopholes in development in this country. And we promise to be bringing you more information about how development is unfolding in our country. This is our job. And as the media, we have the authority to disseminate information, whether that information is not going down well with certain people. As long as it is the correct information, as long as it is the views and concern and comments of the people, we are going to say it. We are going to bring it to the face of the authority and make sure that they understand it well. I remember at one time, some years ago, the walls of the vice president's office fell down. And we spoke about that. We go over it over and over and over. And one morning, I was sitting down quietly in my room and somebody called. Oh, Major C1, Claude Atero Roberts. Yeah, that the Major C1 is the media name, but you can call me that. I love that. He said, Major C1, he said, the vice president's office, the wall that was down, I see people are amending it. They are trying to rectify the poor. I said, oh, praises. The media is working well. And that is the thing, that are some of the things that we are looking forward to. When we say things through the media, the authorities take it into consideration and amend it. We are still on the land issue, and we will try to see how we can salvage some of this situation in the land issue in the country. We heard about where that place in Waterloo, they call it the village, I forgot the name of that village, where there is so Jopo Farm land issue. We talk about Charlotte Village, land issue. We talk about the Peninsula, land issue. Are we only going to focus on land issue when there is land? No. I don't think if you have so much water, you will be thirsty. And we have it, but yet we are thirsty. Let's consider it and take it into serious consideration that the land is there for every peaceful and indigenous citizen of this country. As long as you are a first-class citizen, born and bred here, you are supposed to get your portion of land to dwell peacefully. Well, stay with us. The program is The Views, coming to you live from Freetown Television Network and Freetown Radio on 90.4 FM. There are more stories, more interesting information that you like to know. As yesterday, the Ministry of Finance disclosed that some MDAs defrauded or frauded, detected fraud. And that is the way they put it yesterday. The Minister of Finance detected fraud was over $1 billion. Hi. I tried to calculate that money in leons, and believe me, I stayed over hours without getting it properly in leons. We'll come into that. Let's go for a short break, and then we come back. We continue with the land issue as well as the detected fraud from these our agencies and departments, summing up to $1.36 billion that is supposed to be paid back to the government of Sierra Leone. Wow, it's interesting. We come back and we continue with more stories.
VFX footage. 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 VFX footage.
You know they?
No.
When you tell me I go join this local SIM couple, from where I download this thing, and I want to be able to get access to my account. And I want to know so now we can.
Okay, so now this one is really simple. You don't go to the bank?
No.
Okay. Now go to the bank, let them update your account. Make sure say your telephone number they all know, because now the telephone number will make you get access to you go call SIM couple.
Okay.
Where you they go? Make sure say you carry your bank ID card and also the mobile phone where you they use, because now there we go download the app for you. Okay, so now you will not get account with me. What you need to wait for? Go to any of we branch and open account so you self go enjoy the local SIM couple.
Local Commercial Bank will make life better for we all.
Today waka just begin for me to better tomorrow. For as long as we dey keep for work on we self, we go most bring out we best. We own best in how we can come near the people and things them we matter to we. We dey look for experience where they connect we any side and they give it sense altered.
Orange, the most reliable network na Salone today. Don't put plenty money per network coverage, data service, and plenty other thing there. We don't come near you now. So you and you family them go enjoy the best telecom service at the highest standard. Any side you then a Salone.
Orange.
VFX footage. VFX footage. VFX footage. VFX footage.
All right, welcome back to the program The Views, live from Freetown Television Network on channel 35 and on Freetown Radio 90.4 FM. Yes, we are talking about informations that are making news and headlines around the country. We're talking about land, the land issue, and the Ministry of Lands, what they're supposed to do. Yeah, these are things that are supposed to be in the project pipeline for people to be able to acquire land as easy as possible. But in the latter time, we see our minister going around recovering government assets, government land areas around the country. Yes, it's a very good idea, but sometimes it seems to be going with a certain procedure. And this procedure is a procedure that is within the confinement of the laws of this land. And sometimes when things like this happen, people have different opinions, different ideas about how these things are going on. And until we get to the side of the authorities responsible, then we are able to know exactly how to go about acquiring or recovering the government land, or demolishing houses of people who are residing there, or what would I say, asking them to pay some money and then continue owning the land. There are different ways that we can salvage the situation, but in this case we are having somebody who is a victim of a land issue around the peninsula. And this issue has been going on bit by bit, and we don't want for it to be left only in the village. At least the authorities responsible are supposed to know what are some of the feelings, what are some of the opinions of these people that have been pushed away, or that have been taken away from state land, and where are they going to dwell, what's the next step. There are so many things to know about when the government is taking back, is recovering the lands within the country. And in this particular edition, I am having Dennis Valcasel from Charlotte Village, and he's going to tell us more about how come the minister went there and acquire or retake government state land, and how it all went about. Mr. Dennis Valcasel, I want to welcome you to the program The Views.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Producer.
Yes, you are somebody from Charlotte Village.
Yes, I'm the Secretary General for the Charlotte Indigenous Descendants Association. I'm also born and bred of that village.
Good. Now, sometime last month, if I want to be precise, we saw the Minister of Lands visiting Charlotte Village and demolishing properties there, saying that these are government area beyond the red zone, beyond the green belt. What was it all about exactly? Can you just enlighten my viewers and listeners exactly what went on?
Yes, Mr. Producer. On the 28th of February, the minister unceremoniously went into our village without the consent of the stakeholders, elders, or residents of the village. Brother, I believe that you know very well that we live in a democratic state wherein the right of every citizen needs to be protected, and I believe that we have a customs and tradition that we should not neglect, especially in the dispensation of our responsibilities or duties. Yeah. The way and manner the minister went into that village was so much chaotic. Was so, we see it's like a combat ground. The minister entered there unceremoniously with 4 armed vehicles, and comprises of military personnel and OSD police, like a MACP. When I entered into that village, the place was like a combat zone. Even the old people that are staying there, you know, they all went into pandemonium. They went into panic. We have only a primary school that is right at the heart of the village where this incident happened. They have to they have to stop the school session, and then we are having also patients that came from neighboring village, because the health center that we're having there is serving catchment community like Mote, Mogigba, Charlotte, and other communities. When they saw the atmosphere, they themselves were so much panic, so they went home unattendedly. So just like I said, Mr. Producer, when I went into that village, Charlotte has established over 300 years. Over 300 years. This was our first time of seeing a government statesman entering into a village which is so much peaceful. People are harmless in a democratic country, threatening, harassing, and intimidate people in the name of recovering state land. As citizens of this country, I don't believe that that is the right approach. We have a law, and if we say we are living in a democratic country, the rule of law is what should prevail.
Now, Dennis Valcasel,
Yes.
before proceeding,
Yes.
there must be a time of notice. I believe the minister have done some amount of noticing you people that, look, we are coming to Charlotte Village, we want to recover our state land, and then this is the time that will be there for people to be prepared for him. Was that not done?
No, this is one of the bitter aspects of his action. We were not informed, we were not told. At least we have structures in the governance system. Like we have the district chairman, who is well and cold. We have member of parliament. We have a councillor. Let us assume that he's unable to meet the stakeholders and indigenous of the village. He could have contacted these people before entering into our village. And the man, brother, having four vehicles heavily armed with weapons, as if he is going to war to declare what? Recover a state land, and we don't have state land at
Maybe
Charlotte.
it's coming from past experience where people attack government officials when they go to do official job. That you don't think that's the reason why he went along with a high contingent of personnel?
Brother, I said that this is not a tribal sentiment. I said it to the PRO. Cut across the peninsular villages and then the mountain district. These are villages owned by, we are established by the Creoles. Not that we don't have other tribes, but mind you, as a Sierra Leonean, we all have a background origin, where we originated from, and that one should not be shelved, right? These people, these are Creole people. We settled there for over 300 years. We are very peaceful people. We are very much approachable. So I see no need. We don't have thugs in that village. We have not ever been reported that there have been skirmishes or any type of thuggery in that particular village for over 300 years. I don't see any need for him to enter into such village where we have these old people, 92, 82. These old people are there. There is a school there. I don't think that is the right approach.
Okay.
Let me just say something, my brother. Recently, I heard over the radio that the minister went into an official visit at Kenema. You understand? And when he went there, is the same in respect of the same land recovery. But these people they have occupied a land, airfield land, and other government land. What did he do? He went there peacefully, called them into a hall, they negotiated, and in fact, when he levied a tax of 1 million against the people that he should pay, they started discussing that money is too much. So why treating us that way? So this is what we are so much frowned of, because this is a democratic country. We voted for a democratic elected president.
So the people of Kenema are now going to be paying lease rent of
1 million
to the Ministry of Lands.
Just imagine a very important area, an airfield that helicopters or small planes jet in. At least that place, going there, it should be so much, what should I say? So much, yes, robustic, you know, to make sure that he recovered that place from the people. But no, the approach was peaceful. What we are saying is, we as Sierra Leonean, if I happen to go to Bo, Kenema, or Port Loko, for goodness sake, even if I'm a president, at least the respect of the elders, the respect of the chief, we go there in a peaceful manner.
Lately, the minister held a meeting where he spoke lengthily about the processes to acquire land, how we go about it. We are going for a short break, and then we look at listen to the minister, and then when we come back, we'll discuss more.
Okay.
Yeah. Stay tuned, viewers. This is The Views coming to you live from Freetown Television Network and Freetown Radio on 90.4 FM. I'm your host, Claude Ateo Roberts. We'll soon be back and discuss more.
VFX footage. VFX footage. VFX footage. VFX footage. VFX footage.
Today waka just begin for me to better tomorrow. For as long as we dey keep for work on we self, we go most bring out we best. We own best in how we can come near the people and things them we matter to we. We dey look for experience where they connect we any side and they give we sense altered.
Orange, the most reliable network na salon today. Don't put plenty money per network coverage, data service, and plenty other thing there. We don't come near you now. So you and you family them go enjoy the best telecom service at the highest standard. Any side you then a salon.
Orange.
Stakeholders and members of the Ministry of Lands, including the Minister, Dr. Dennis Sandi, have given an overview of the trip to Charlotte Village, in which the Minister explains that the Ministry is ready to work with relevant ministries, departments and agencies to ensure the protection and preservation of the environment for the good of all Sierra Leoneans.
Because of waiting when they about for sea. This is now an environmentally serene, planned and dedicated area where for the past decade the government they don't declare say nobody not for do any development at this area. So my family them, see the trees them, these are trees them, when the guy area from the guys them from agriculture, these are trees them where they don't plant over the past few years. So I was coming from Waterloo and Mogiba then days the year. Now I see them pillars the year all the come up the road. So I stopped, came down the vehicle and held discussion with the guy that was on the ground. So now one doctor, Hyde Foster, then gets here. And he gives us a document, we go as far as 29. But we found with them, the good thing about this is that even in 29, I mean, they stopped them and they stopped them aggressively. So now I go to officers yesterday, they produced on 3, site plans them. Their site plans there, these are the acreages. 4 town lots. Now I go to 6 town lots. Now I go to 8 town lots, my family, all in the office. But when I can't go as minister and watch, and when I say go watch, this particular stretch they go down the valley. It's more than 8 town lots. By my estimate, it's almost 1.5 acres or even more. And the Charlotte Village, my family, they right down the hill. When this is the road, this is a new road. Well, as you now watch, you get a series of trees planted over time, and I've got a very beautiful scenery. So don't carry out today this joint team for can assess the situation on the ground and take the relevant measure.
Kelly, the Deputy Director of Forestry under the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Environment, said that it is good to plant more trees so as to increase the forest area.
Since 2014, the
trees you are seeing around, we planted those trees since 2014. You can see even at the back there, we planted those trees since 2014. And one of the reasons here is for us to increase on the forest cover in this particular area. And we know the fragility of this land. This land is too fragile. That's why also we planted trees here to ensure that we protect this land. If your memory could serve you well, the first landslide took place just around this area in the 40s. And 2 years back, we experienced the same thing within the same National Peninsula Park. And we don't want to sit by again and see such thing reoccurring. We want to take a mitigative measure this time around. That's why we are planting trees to ensure that we claim those fragile lands. We protect the fragile lands, the degraded ones.
Reserve forest is a capital value of inheritance. For FTN Top News, Abubakar Kamara.
Yes, that was the Minister of Lands, Dr. Denis Sandy, and his team talking about fragile land. I do not understand really when you talk about fragile land. It's disturbing. Dennis,
yes,
you heard the minister, and that area is just the Charlotte village of itself, where it's just happened that it is up and then the Charlotte village is down. Is that Charlotte village, is it fragile? When you talk about fragile, it's something that is a bit delicate. It's something that you're supposed to handle with care. I don't know the definition that we can add to fragile.
I think
he said the land is very fragile. I don't know what it means.
The descriptive word of the minister is very, very wrong. That particular area that is the stand, that's not a fragile area. Charlotte, we have the landslide which took place in 1945, and it's way off, and we have the residential area. Let me say something. We believe in government of continuity. The area that the minister is making mention about, when they were reconstructing the Regent Joey Highway Road, they encroached in so many private properties. But it was understandable because it was for a national development. So most people did not take any action. We accepted the fact. So the land that the minister is pointing at is owned by a doctor, and they did encroach into his property when they were constructing this Regent Joey Highway Road. But if there is any form of negotiation for the doctor to at least move his fence a little bit off from the road, it's fine. He can just meet the doctor, and they can negotiate that particular aspect. And let me just say something, my brother. The reason why I was making mention about government of continuity, the previous government headed by His Excellency Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma, he did on the right hand side, he passed this moratorium. But the reason why he passed the moratorium on the right hand side, he told us that because he wants a standard building cut across Regent to Joey Highway, and also because they have spent a lot of money, this is why he did pass this moratorium on the right hand side. So I don't really see why people are just giving all type of flimsy excuses and saying this and that. These are all wrong statements. As I can tell you, my brother, I'm right at that particular point that the minister is claiming that the place, or this PRO is claiming that the place is fragile or whatever. We don't have fragile place at Charlotte. Charlotte is inside the valley of which we all understood. And when you enter into Charlotte, it's very flat, but it's surrounded by hills and mountains. And what we are saying as indigenous of this village, we did revive this Charlotte Indigenous Descendants Association to oversee and enhance development that is going on within our community. And we are so much conscious about the hills and the catchment areas, the prone hills and everything. But the unfortunate thing that we really really don't have from the ministry is for them to come and see how they can work with us, because in a democratic country, everybody needs to participate. It's not just sleeping and then the other day you just take a decision. Oh, let me go and break this house. Let me go and demolish this house because this particular area is a state land. This particular area is a protected area. No, that's not the way we do things. Everything has been structured in the ministry. If you go to the ministry, let me don't hide this from you, but they have in the global mapping. They have in the global mapping there. If you took a document or a document that has been signed by by a licensed surveyor, when they took this document to lands, they have the process that this document will go through, and after that, when they wanted to map it from this global mapping. At least somebody told me, but I have seen it because I was there when this director was trying to show us a particular thing when we are having an argument about state land and whatever. Yes, exactly. And then he showed us, Val, this is very simple. If your land falls in a state land, when you attach it or when you put it at the global mapping, then it will show that this land is a state land or this land is a no-go area. It will tell because it has already been what should I say, mapped out. So I don't see what they are saying. And in relation to this act, brother, we are frowning at three things. One, the approach of the minister. Two, the law that he fails to abide by as a statesman, because there is no law that gives him the right to demolish structures, ongoing structures, body structure, without going through the due process. At least I said it before, in a democratic country, the rule of law is what prevails. And for a statesman like that to take the law into his own hand, just do what he feel like doing, at least it hurts us as citizens of this country.
I do believe that.
You see?
They get the bailiff section at the court when they want to demolish buildings that are not correct or that are, they go through the court and the court gives a court injunction order to the bailiff department, and they will go there and do the demolition, something like that. But there is a process. I don't know if he used that process or he's using his veto power.
But if he could have used that process, there is no need for him to go with four-armed vehicle, with heavy weapons and all of these comprises of police, military, and all of it's wrong.
Dennis Van Kassel, can you just catalog us with some of the destruction and the demolition? What does it amount to?
Brother,
where and where?
Let me say something.
Yeah.
Where this act took place is just off about 150 feet. 150 meters off from where the health center and the school is. It's the original settlement of Charlotte. This minister went in unceremoniously, demolished fences, ongoing structures, pan-body structures, and these pan-body structures, we have people that were residing in these pan-body structures. Now they are homeless. And then when you look in some of these pan-body structures, they were having millions of they were having material costs, millions of leons. You can just see the economic problem in the country.
The question here is,
you see,
why didn't he use the kind of approach for the Kenema indigenous and compared to that of Charlotte people? This is my question.
Well, brother, if I can put it to you, you know, Sierra Leone, we must be nationalistic. We must be very, very honest. We must also always put on our integrity. Let me say something, my brother. Most politicians, few of them, they work for the party rather than the country.
Oh.
Yes, it's true. And then they have this tribal sentiment, and which is wrong. We all Sierra Leone, everybody have their own background of origin. But when it comes to national issue, we should embrace ourselves and then do the right thing to the people and the country. At the end of the day, things will not go bad. Because mind you, we have this institution that has been set up. In the colonial days, we have the Ministry of Lands, we have the registrar, of which all procedures are done through this institution. Why is he neglecting this institution, taking the law into his own hand? And even in the government, we have three arms of government that forms this institution. You have the executive, you have the legislature, and you have the judiciary. So why didn't he go to the judiciary who will interpret the law for him? Why can't he just see a document and then nullifies the document? Just imagine we have a government that have ruled this country for a whole decade. How can you overturn and nullify all of this document signed by credible directors, professional directors, directors of integrity? Just overturn all of their document that has been signed, because people like Dr. Farmer, these are credible people. I knew them. People like Pratt. And then people like Fire, even Jones have a wider experience. And then what baffled me most was when I saw the then director's signature on few of this document. And then he's condemning his own administration, because this director is under his own administration. He's condemning his own signature. Well, this is very, very bad. And then I have evidence here to show you all of these directors, their signature, and even his current director. So you actually see that the minister is just taking the law on in his own hands. And then I don't think we and
Dennis Vaka's, to be more precise, I don't live at Charlotte Village, but he is saying that that particular area is within the red zone, the green belt.
Let me say.
And then for more information, we heard that the minister, Dr. Dennis Sandi, is also owning a particular property along that red zone, that green belt. I don't know. People are living there. Can you just enlighten us?
I attended the stakeholders meeting of the then minister. I was so much impressed of all what he said during that meeting. And I thought that we've got the right minister in that ministry. But all of a sudden, when he started his outreach and actions, I started to see things going the other way. You understand? If you just take a conducted tour from Jue from Regent 30, because Regent started at this 30 junction, to right onto to Stone at Bathurst, because I'm a born mountain village chap, so I know all the historical demarcation of each village. So what I'm saying is, if you just take a conducted tour, you look at how they plan, because it was the intervention of the lands ministry. I could remember when I was going to school, when you reach at that forest, they have a particular area that they were having a very small house, which was manned by these forest guards. When you reach there, when we in school is over, because we walk by foot because of transportation, but you have to run from that point to Lester Peak Junction, because the place was dense forest. And then reaching at Lester Peak Junction, you have this idea that SS camp, they are kidnapping kids, children, and whatnot. So you have again to run from that Lester Peak Junction to Guma Gate, because that is where you meet people. But for me, when they started started planning IMAT, I was so disappointed. If you go to IMAT, you don't have it was planned by the ministry. And one of the questions I want to ask the ministry, where have they ever planned that have come out successfully, which they will showcase to this nation, that this is where the ministry intervened and we have planned ABC, see how successful we are. But that is not their intention. When they intervene into some of these areas, they have their own agenda to sell, to just plan the place haphazardly. You go to IMAT, they don't have school, they don't have cemetery, they don't have church, they don't have mosques, because these are all planning basic needs for any community. They don't have recreational field, nothing. The place is well congested with houses. And when we saw this, as indigenes of Charlotte, we decided to revive the Charlotte Indigenous Descendants Association, which has been going on in the days of our ancestors, so that we can help to plan and then enhance and work with the headman of that particular village. Brother, if you just leave IMAT coming down, look at Lester Peak. Right at Lester Peak, they are having an antenna there, which is for the national use, where all their information is. All of that place has been deforested. If you go there are houses all over. I've never seen the minister or any minister using this MAP method that you used to go to Charlotte to places like Lester Peak, so that they can take off these houses and then let us plant trees. But as villagers, we are conscious about the environment, because once the environment is congested, you don't have free, fresh air. The oxygen that you take in is contaminated. So this is all what we are trying to avoid. Go now, look at Matome. Yeah, if you see Matome, I always say this. I'm not happy what happened. I was not happy of what happened at Matome. We contributed as an association when this thing happened. See how Matome, no Regentonians will go to Matome and construct houses. And this is why you need to liaise with stakeholders of the community, elders of the community, so that when the ministry goes anywhere, you can have these credible people to plan certain areas and tell them the history of some certain areas. Brother, I knew of a particular village that I will not call the name of that village, because just like I said, I'm a Mountaineer. I've stayed in that village. I know everywhere. I walked from Charlotte to the West African Methodist Collegiate. I walked from Charlotte to college, so I know what I'm saying. Brother, there is a particular village. Even a landslide took place there, and I believe that the Ministry of Land knew about that. That place has already been sold. And what is happening? The people who bought that land, when they constructed their house sank every year when there is rain. It goes down. Down, yes, because the place is a soft soil. So this is why in a democratic country, you need to involve people to participate. His Excellency, retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio, he alone cannot do everything. This is why he has given us the tax as indigenous of this country, that when you see things that are going wrong, bring it out, because that helps him to plan. Then let me say something. Where the minister stays, where he resides, go there now. Finally. The reservoir at Regent, that place was dense forested. When I was going to school, even in the late 90s, let me say, even in 1996 when we started our democracy, all of these places were dense forested. It was in 2004 we started seeing this deforestation, and we called them to attention. They didn't listen to us. Now go now, the reservoir that was supplying water to Freetown Wilberforce. You go there now, the water is dry, because the then minister Denis Sandi, he shifted the green belt, or the green belt that the late minister who died, I forget his name, Bukos. What is his name? Bob Sisi. He shifted that particular green belt because he wanted to build his houses just close to the reservoir. So many houses are right at the reservoir, and now the reservoir, when there are rains, okay, the water, yes, it takes its capacity, and then for some time the water dries because there is no trees around to protect the atmosphere.
But maybe that area where the minister planted his house is not hazardous.
Brother, it is hazardous. It is danger. It is prone to danger. You just back of it, you can get the sugar loaf. You can get sugar loaf just back of it, about, let me just say, 600 meters off. You started the sugar loaf hill. And for goodness sake, where a country is serious in the planning of his country, you cannot put a structure within that area. And this is what we are against at Charlotte. That this Charlotte has to be planned. We don't want to see Charlotte like what have happened at Gloucester, what has happened at Leicester, and then Regent.
I think we've got enough of that explanation. Yes, okay. And I believe the minister has somebody, or there's someone that will tell him that this is the situation presently at Charlotte. Even you, the minister, having demolished houses there, protecting state land, yours is there too. You see, it's better for you to take off the beam in your eyes before taking that in the eyes of others. If the minister is having a home there, obviously, maybe he's having all the right, or maybe he's looking at that area as a well-protected area, or maybe he has reasons for having his house there. But let me go to a victim, one of the victims that suffered the demolition at Charlotte Village. You welcome to the program, The Views. Yeah. Though we are pushing close to our separation time, but let's just hear from you how you come about, what happened exactly during the time where the minister where yourself you got involved.
Well, actually, it was on the 28th of February.
Yeah.
I received a call from my contractor that I should go to my site immediately.
Oh, you need a bill?
Of course. I have my structure, my ongoing structure. I have fenced the whole place. In fact, let me say this in our local language so people will understand, because I've just listened from what the minister said, and it was saying it's in Creole. So let me say it's in Creole so that people will understand.
Go ahead.
And I just want to buttress with what Mr. Van Castle said earlier. This said minister, my brother, he also the bill. You know, I don't consider and say in a green belt. If there is something more than green belt, I would say red belt. Just right behind the reservoir, just right behind there. If you go there, you just, you know, you are free. Just go there, you go see the man in us there, a prone disaster area in us there.
Now, which kind of building?
It gets a structured house there.
1, 2 story, 3, 4?
Yeah, 2-story building. Go there, you go see, just go find out for yourself. You understand? So me to say this minister, they use in power for intimidate people, because you na Sierra Leonean, you know about Charlotte. Charlotte na historical village, and when I go and meet this minister, they do this demolition. Of course, as a peaceful citizen, because it was heartrending, painful. So I'm going for meet him. When I meet him, I ask him why they do this kind of thing and everything, and you know, you get for we get to talk. To be very honest, he tell me that him not expect me forget land and then campaign, because it will surprise you that I have the same surname with him. My name is also Sandy. Yeah. So for that reason, he can forgive me audience, and then we talk and listen to me. Yeah. So me say for meet him in my office, and I'm gonna ask him how one go through forget land. How waiting at the process so somebody go through forget land. But tell me say that is why we tell una for say una for come at the ministry, and then for come go for get a check before you acquire land. You understand? So he said it all, and I went through the due process to acquire my land. You understand? I received a master plan from these people where I take to my lawyer, and if you did say that, you try for say everybody is stupid, including my lawyer and whosoever signed this document. My lawyer take this me master plan, go to Roxy building, and other plan me today where you know of, you understand, where you get for check, and all of them will go to the chatting office, because this survey may done in a GPS form where you go, then they just chat all the codes them, and you go see the thing that come up by the system. It was there. I saw it with my own eyes. So I'm going to go ahead with my transaction, and I get this other advanced corporate command to put her in, get for signed by the director. If you they say now you they condemn this we plan and everything said na green belt area, it means you they condemn on a license surveyor them, you they condemn the past director. You understand? It means the place is not structured.
No, you say something where I mean just while you come back, you say you're not supposed to acquire land at that area there. What do you mean? You mean that because you are Sandy, you're supposed to get a better place other than, or you suppose not for the area now elders or authorities or the residential area where like other people not for the job.
Well, Mr. I mean no waiting, maybe I mean some kind of emotional, I don't know, because it happened for say my name be Sandy or something. Get you understand? Yes, say yes, you know to that kind of person. You understand? And then we are not talking. It's not about party business, because if in a party, Mr. Self votes for this party, and maybe the way how I stick my life for this party, immediately I host with him family they sleep, because me I be one of the polling agents. Them I got proof where I go na meeting, you know, with the. Of course, they're not trying the way I talk about Sierra Leone. We can put Sierra Leone first, you understand? Politics don't come on at the place, you understand? But now, if you go unceremoniously, in fact, when the man do the demolition, at the time he left letter that we for go to the ministry of lands on the 29th, where February will be the 28th day. So if you get problem with the calendar dates, it means you don't know anything what you do. You understand? And also, let me say this. One important thing where I want to draw people the attention to, yeah? If Dr. Sandy they come, he condemn the act of the previous director, yeah? If another director come, he condemn what in your administration they do so now. Whose future we are Sierra Leone and them we all, it's like we are all just victims, you understand? So there should be reform, And this is why we voted for this government. Because
you believe the minister in yourself for demolition because he didn't.
Yeah, for
you want set example, you have to start with yourself, and we not to example a short. Let's find another example because we are not in a green belt or green zone or what red belt, whatever is saying. I don't know, but we are. In fact, Charlotte has been existing for the past over 300 years. The annual school come up from Charlotte. If you say na green belt area, it means back in the days the colonial master them is stupid for go put annual na a green belt or green zone area.
Okay, well. It's really there are two sides to the story, but we must get enough time for we bring out some of these issues. We bring out some of these heart-rending issues to the authorities who are responsible, and I believe we will get more time. As part of today's program, we'll get more time. We will come back and then bring out some of documents because I like for work with documents. I like for work with evidence.
I have my documents signed. I have my documents signed and everything.
Yes, the Freetown Television Network. We work with the grassroots. We work with the authorities. As I said earlier on in this program, we take from the grassroots to the government, and we take from the government back to the grassroots people. So obviously, we'll go for another program, enough one. We will get somebody from the ministry, if not the minister himself. We get Una, we sit down, and we try to see what thing will be the way forward. Because now the damages are already been done. We need to go back and see if more damage not for come. We need to go back and we'll see if there is any compensation for what has been done. Because lately we all get the information say na Kenema it was done in another way around. They compensate some people, they ask some people for pay lease rent to the government because of that area. Well, I believe that this kind of action supposed to be going all around. But if you get any last message for Dennis Van Kassel, I would like you to do it as shortest possible.
Yes, can I do it very quickly? And I'm very sorry that we don't have enough time because I want to bring so many things to light to this government. One of the things I do observe that the minister has already discredited our built institution like the master and registrar. And then even the lands ministry, it shows that this ministry is highly corrupt and it's not well structured. And then the other thing I wanted to say, my brother, the way they are doing things. Let me just say something. If you drive along the main Joy Highway, there was a structure that the former lands minister demolished. This lady, Dan Konomani, yes, and. Before they did that, we were having a meeting. He consulted us, and we see the need for him to demolish that particular structure because it's right on along the prone area, a very dangerous area. And when Dennis and he come, could you believe that man give rights to this Lebanese man? I think because he's a Lebanese man. You see, we don't respect our nationals. We respect foreigners than national. We treat our national like beasts, like any animals, and then give rights to foreigners. And when I spoke with we had a chat at a particular forum like this, the PRO was telling me that because the man is here for some certain project and that is why they give him the mandate. So just see, my brother, all this wetland and all these areas has been signed. People are building house just haphazardly. You know, this is very, very wrong for our country.
Okay, at least that one is clearly understandable. That the former minister removed people from that area, that it's not a good area, but the present minister come and then say, no, go ahead, it's a nice area. Things are just crumbling left and right, upside down. And the lands ministry is supposed to be one of the most important ministry dealing with land issue. This is where Sierra Leoneans dwell. This is where Sierra Leoneans cast their problems when they come from the hard job day. And then you go home, you're supposed to have somewhere to lie down peacefully. I don't think there are supposed to be any headache in acquiring land, in distributing land in this country, because the land is there. Let nobody fool no one. 7 million people for the kind of land, and we get enough and to spare. Yes, brother, you have been on victim already. You are part of the saga. So if you get a short message to give, for the sake of time, what would you like to say?
Okay, what I would like to say is that after this demolition, as I told you, the minister left a invitation letter that we should report on the 29th, and there was no 29 on in February. So it's like he's having problem with the date. And but for the sake of peace, after a couple of days, I went there with my documents. I met with him, we spoke, and then I gave the documents to one of his staff. You understand? And they checked my document. Everything is planned. My document is correct. He said it himself. So if my document is correct, I don't know what the need for the demolition. I don't know, and he has not get back to me since then. You understand? He set up appointments for me. I went there, you know, just busy schedule, dodging. So
you're still waiting.
As we are still waiting. As for now, we are just waiting on the response from the president. And honestly, I want to say this: as a young people, consider the economic value of what this minister destroyed. And when he went to my site, I was having over 50 bags of cement. He poured water on it. You understand? And there was these bricks, you know, he pushed them down, destroyed all of them, and took my, you know.
And in that case, he placed the cart before the horse.
Yes, yes.
Because he was supposed to invite you people firstly to meet him, discuss the issue.
Mr. Moderator,
but what you are saying is that he demolished and then invited you to the office.
Yes, and then give us wrong date. Even just an invitation letter, that would have been suffice.
He was thinking about the leap year. He said 29 days.
Well, let him go back to school.
With so many controversial.
All right, listeners and viewers of Freetown Television Network on Channel 35 and Freetown Radio on 90.4 FM. That's been so interesting today in the program The Views. We've been talking about land issues, land, and you all heard about how Charlotte people suffered it through the hands of the then minister, the current minister, Dr. Dennis Sandi. We are still hoping to hear from Dr. Dennis Sandi to help salvage this particular situation concerning Charlotte Village. Yes, people are there. People are Sierra Leoneans. People are there. Our children, they are our mothers, they are our fathers. The same treatment